Ah, yet another beautiful RimWorld colony with our crash-landed crew. Oh, looks like they all died on impact. Well, that's never happened before. Gotta be hard to start a colony with these mutilated corpses laying around. Well, that sucks. Colony ended before it even got started. Game over. Oh, wait a minute. I could just play as the dog. That's right, all you mutts and pups. We are going to be beating RimWorld today as a Labrador Retriever. Or, for a shorter and more simple title that'll hopefully have caught your eye, as a dog. I can already hear you in the comments. How the hell are you gonna do that, Rat Papa? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I do have some mods, which you can find in the video description, that allow me to control Check, not only to draft him, but the WASD mod allows me to actually control him as well. Perfect for things like, oh, I don't know, hunting down squirrels to eat. I'm gonna level with you. You know just as well as I know that the last thing that I'm good at is planning, okay? So I kinda just jumped into this head first with a concept and just tried to make it work as best I could. First example of this was me hunting that squirrel, but Check wouldn't even eat it. He'd much rather go and eat survival meals. I fucked it up already, looks like. I guess it really doesn't matter as long as our belly is full, and we could just lie out here on the ground. It's not like anybody's gonna care. We are an animal after all. Let's just hope a larger predator doesn't come along in the night. Now, I will say that I would just let days pass in the beginning here, and, you know, we could say that our Check, which is also me, of course, was just saddened by the death of his 3 owners, so much so that he didn't want to leave the area. But in reality, I was just trying to let some time pass. That way we could eventually get the quest for the ship to the stars. Yeah, you know, the thing that we need to actually beat the game. And to avoid any predators, I just kind of hung out around the river here, around where we initially crashed, and also around my survival meals. That way, you know, I could just eat and survive and not have to worry about anything. Listen, I never said this would be spectacular, okay? After a while, though, I did notice that my previous owners had completely rotted away. The poor damn dirty saps. And I also noticed there were a lot of crows around them. I didn't mind if they pecked on their bones, but damn it, you better stop eating my meals. Well, they didn't, needless to say, so no more Mr. Nice Pooch. I started biting the heads off of crows left and right, and I ended up killing a whole damn murder, or flock, or whatever it's called of them. After doing so, I realized what a dumbass idea that was, because here's the thing, there's no humans around, no one's here to heal me, and because of that, I have to let my body do its own thing. Right? Nature takes its course and I eventually get healed. But another part of nature is infections, and if I were to get one, there's a strong chance I won't survive it. So no more needless violence. Thankfully no infections this time, and I healed up, and we finally got our quest for the ship to the stars. Now we can get the hell off this rock. I will say, it was a bit farther from us than I would have liked. I think it was about 20 days travel or something like that, so my plan was going to be to take as many packaged survival meals as I could, and I would stop, make camp, and hunt along the way. Just one problem. I wanted to take those packaged survival meals because we had 22 of them, which would be great, but even trying to put one on me was way too much weight for my body to handle for some reason. Not really sure how that works. That's alright though, right? To hell with it, who even cares? We could just hunt squirrels and stuff on the way down there. That's what I thought too. Turns out there's more than just one issue. I can't even send the caravan without any people. I know what you're thinking, Rat Daddy, I know it might be cheating, but who gives a shit? Turn on dev mode and send that puppy out instantly, and let's get this train rolling again. Well, you're just as stupid as I am, because I had that idea, and apparently not even that works. What the hell? That's it. This is going to require some outside-the-box thinking. It's just a shame I'm not very good at that. Alright, I know we want to beat the game as a dog, but what if I create some new colonists? Because the game does give us that option. Okay, think about that. It's not cheating technically because the game just puts it right there. I can do it. And maybe I just do that and I don't control them. How about that? It's not exactly what I had in mind, but, you know, I mean, if I could get us out of here like that, I think that's fine. Alright, you sorry-ass sons of bitches, let's get a move on. I've got a plane to catch off-world. That's right, take it all in, take a good look at them, because that's gonna be you here in about a month or two, I'd say. Alright, that's enough looking, let's get the hell out of here, huh? Okay, so this is probably a good time to tell you. After we head out, of course we would end up taking all of the food and medicine and the weapons that we could along with us. Now, again, I'm not going to be controlling these colonists technically, but I will be changing up their reactions to threats, so instead of having them flee, I might go in and swap that out to have them attack. But I'm not going to be the one controlling them, micromanaging them, and stuff like that, ensuring that they don't get killed, right? We're the dog here. I just want to stress that, because there are ways to control them without actually controlling them. Now then, as we were making our long journey all the way to the ship that was going to take us to the stars, we started starving just a teeny tiny bit, so I guess it's about time for us to set up camp, huh? Thankfully, this time of year, there should be plenty of animals for me to hunt and plenty of berries for my humans to eat. Immediately after setting up camp, I designated some agave to be harvested, and since dogs can't harvest agave, the humans would do it all by themselves, and they would immediately start eating because, again, they are starving to death. As they were feeding their faces for survival purposes, I was trying to wrap my jowls around an iguana's head, and eventually I did, killing it. Now with that, I can finally eat too. Sweet blood and uncooked meats, and I'm also quite injured, unfortunately, from this. I know I said I didn't want to do this anymore earlier, but I kinda couldn't help myself. It was unavoidable. Thanks to their priorities being set, though, our human slaves would come in and automatically start tending to my wound, so we shouldn't get an infection, hopefully. For a few days we ate agave and I healed up as best I could before we would finally set back out on our journey once more. I had hoped for an easy peasy video where I could simply just travel as a dog all the way to the ship, eating agave and hunting squirrels, but instead here I am, getting a bit of edging from not being able to use my colonist and having to waddle around on 4 legs. Whatever though, as you can see, we were having to set up camp every so often, that way we could eat, because foraging while walking was impossible for some reason. A small price to pay for beating the game as a doggo though. During some of these little campsite excursions though, I would designate some of these ruins like steel sarcophagi and columns to be deconstructed, giving us the steel from them, of course. Then all I had to do was set up a blueprint for a fueled smithy. Now, why am I doing all this? Well, because I could set a build to go about creating some animal armor. And I will say that technically I ended up kind of breaking the rules a little bit because I had to click on one of our colonists to then choose the armor and force them to put it on me, so I cheated. I lost. But look how good I look in the armor. Haha, hell yeah. Look, it was either this or I use character editor to do it, and I don't have thumbs, so technically I can tell you in retrospect after actually completing this video that it actually wasn't needed, and I just really wanted to put some armor on the dog, so I cheated, but I didn't have to, I promise. You'll just have to take my word for it, of course. Anywho, though, we were continuing our travel, setting up camp here and there, getting some berries, hunting some iguanas and squirrels, and blah, 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 and that's about it. But we were getting so close to that ship that I could smell it. Unfortunately, though, we ended up getting ambushed. Such a shame, as we were so close without any incident. Realistically, we hadn't had any threats other than, well, starvation, of course. But if you know RimWorld, then you know that you can set your colonist's reaction to a threat from running away to nothing to actually fighting the threat, and that's what we did here. I wasn't able to equip their weapons, not sure why they didn't equip their weapons, but they beat the absolute hell out of this fella. That's right, get him, boys. They caved his skull in. Awesome. Well, now that our human slaves finally have the guilt of having to take another man's life in self-defense on their conscience, we can finally get to that ship to the stars, and we would end up arriving shortly thereafter. A great big beautiful metal phallic shape right out here in the desert, eh? Now before we actually start up the reactor, I have kind of a plan. Stick with me here. We have a lot of ancient ruins in the area, and so I'm going to designate them to be deconstructed by our humans. Once they do that, and they collect all the resources, which is mostly stone blocks, some steel, stuff like that, limestone, granite, most importantly granite, as of course it is the strongest stone block that there is in the game, we started using these blocks to build ourselves a little rectangle around the entire ship. Now, we're not going to be building a colony or anything like that here, of course. I just want some type of defenses around the ship. It's the most vital. It's the entire reason we came here, okay? I don't want to get destroyed. I don't think I really need to explain that too much. Thing is though, not only is it the entire reason that we're here, the only way off the planet, but it is also going to be my special home for the remainder of this video. I'll show you what I mean. But first, I need to tell my silly little humans goodbye. And this is also another instance of me cheating because I forced them to line up like this. Again, I didn't have to. It wasn't crucial to beating the game, I swear to God. Anyways, though, I'm going to get in the ship now. I stuffed my little furry ass into a cryo sleep pod, and I was actually able to do this on my own after drafting myself. And this is where I will be spending, I guess, the remainder of my days here in the video, but also the remainder of my life until I'm woken up by the ship's AI in the great big beautiful beyond. Maybe doggy heaven, or maybe the stars. Either way though, we still have quite some time before that happens. We need to start up the reactor, which is going to take 15 days, and in case you're new here, that also means that it's going to send out a signal that's going to attract a lot of unfriendly folks. So you better make yourself comfortable like I did, because we got 14 days to go and I'm not allowed to touch anything. That's right, again, I'm not controlling the humans. Even after the dog is in this chamber, I'm just going to sit back and watch. This might be the easiest video I've ever made, to be honest with you. You're probably wondering now though, aren't the raids gonna keep coming? Of course they are, but again, I can't control our colonists, so we're just gonna have to watch it play out. Which is a little bit problematic because they're definitely going to die, or in this case, as you can see now, some of them are just going to be kidnapped. Now, around this time, I really wasn't knowing for sure if I was going to be able to even make this video, and definitely not if I was going to be able to beat RimWorld as a dog. I've gotten pretty close though, and I was just kind of banking on the fact that maybe our walls would hold out, and thus why we had made them of granite for the most part and doubled up on them. I thought that maybe raiders, once all our human companions were gone, would come in and beat on the walls, and after destroying a few of them, would eventually decide to leave, as sometimes if they do enough damage, that's what they'll do. Now, what they love more than doing that damage and leaving, though, is kidnapping people and leaving. After your colonists hit the ground, there's a pretty likely chance that they'll be willing to just kidnap some of them and leave. As you can see, we only have the one at the moment, who, because of all of her friends getting kidnapped and me being safe in my pod, not able to nuzzle her, is prone to mental breaks, like going berserk. I thought for sure this would end her life because she'd probably attack an animal, but no, she recovered from it, and the next night she was eating some berries. Right out in the open. Big mistake. Indeed, she too would be taken down by raiders. This time around, looks like it's some pig pirates, and they would eventually decide to kidnap her and to get the hell out of here. Funny thing is, we ended up getting a man in black, who just so happened to be this exact same colonist that was getting kidnap's lover. RimWorld really is the ultimate story generator game because I'm playing as a dog, and yet somehow we still have this ultimate love story where this guy is about to rescue the love of his life. Oh. Never mind, it looks like they killed him. Still pretty cool, though. He's dead, and now she's being kidnapped, though. So you might be asking yourself, well, now you have no colonist. What do you do now? Well, I just kind of sit back and watch. The problem with that, though, as there's a lot of problems throughout this video, is that raids are still going to continue happening. And my genius plan of hoping that the raiders just wouldn't break through and start destroying the ship, or would beat on the walls and then feel content after destroying some stuff, yeah, that didn't work at all. As you probably could have guessed, that was such a dumbass plan to begin with. So as I had some tribes people bashing our walls with their bow and arrows and what have you, I had to think of an idea, and quick. Well, not all that quick, as they're very slow at destroying these walls. But, you know, the game still gives us the option to create more wanderers without even having to take control of them. It's a little bit cheaty, but I think that's our best option. So that's exactly what we did. I summoned 3 more crash-landed colonists, and they started walking towards the colony, and were quickly swept up by the raid of tribespeople. They got beat down, they got killed, they got kidnapped. Exactly what you would expect, basically. It just kind of ties back to what I mentioned earlier. Raiders would much rather try to beat the dog shit out of your colonists and to kidnap them than anything else. So if we just keep summoning in more wanderers, then they're just gonna keep beating them down and kidnapping them and not attacking the ship. It was the perfect plan. Human sacrifice for the win. It also makes for a rather boring story for me to narrate. At one point I thought we were going to get something a little bit more interesting, as we had a trader in the area and we also had a raid about to attack us, but the trader fled. Probably the best move. Alas, it would seem that I just have to keep on clicking to bring in more wanderers, and I just kind of have to sit back and watch as the horror unfolds of them getting attacked. Now, I could have made it so that they would fight back, of course, but to be honest with you, this would have been more boring, as it would have just taken longer. And also, more importantly, even though they're fighting with our people, we still have a few of them who are attacking our walls while our colonists are getting killed. So the faster we get our colonists kidnapped and we get these raiders the hell out of here, the faster we don't have to worry about them breaking through any of our walls and attacking the ship. Anyways, though, for the next 6 or 7 days or something like that, it was a bit of rinse and repeat. I would summon in more wanderers after ours would get killed and kidnapped, and eventually we had the final countdown for the reactor. I wish I could tell you that my heart was pounding in these last few hours, but to be honest with you, I didn't really care. We could just summon in more wanderers to die on our behalf if we really needed to. And once the reactor was ready, it was time for us to get the hell out of here. And then we would get to take out a very long list of in memoriam to many, and I do mean many, dead colonists who sacrificed their lives. Thanks to every one of you, I guess. And you know what? In the end, can you beat RimWorld as a dog? Yes, and I guess, did I do that? Kinda, sorta. I probably could have done it a little better, but I kinda did it. Perhaps, though, you should try it for yourself, after, of course, liking the video if you did so, and dropping a subscription here for old Papa Rat if you haven't already, of course. I want to thank you guys ever so much for watching this little goofy-ass video of beating RimWorld as a dog. I'm not really sure what inspired me to do this, other than the fact that I just wanted to see if it was even possible. Again, though, I love you guys, and once again, thank you, of course, ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.